Was A Quiet Place inspired by Signs, It Comes at Night, and War for the Planet of the Apes? Was Ready Player One influenced by Avatar, Wreck-It Ralph, and The Last Starfighter? Is The Hurricane Heist more influenced by Sharknado or Geostorm? These are the kinds of questions my guest co-hosts and I discuss on my podcast, Piecing It Together. Every week, we look at a new movie and try to figure out what other movies inspired it. Whether it's the story, the character development, tone, or even use of music. Every movie was influenced by something that came before, and we want to figure out what. Check out Piecing It Together on your favorite podcast app or check us out on piecingpod.com. You can also follow us on social media at piecingpod. Piecing It Together is a part of the All Points West podcast network.
Danny watches a lot of television and movies. John does not. Listen in as she tells him about what she's watching and he tries to make sense of it all. Welcome to Watching My Stories with Danny and John.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Here we are.
Here we are. Wasn't quite ready. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I said yes, but the answer should have been no.
And I asked him,
He did.
Are you ready?
She did. Can we?
No editing, no stops, no nothing. So we're going on.
Oh, dear.
Welcome to Watching My Stories. I'm Danny.
I used to be John.
I just watched Peppermint. You should watch out.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm riled up.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah. So I literally got home like 20 minutes ago.
About 20 minutes ago.
Okay. So we're just going to jump right into it then.
That's fine.
That was what they call a segue.
Yeah. Okay. Who are they?
Them.
Those people?
Those people.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just went and saw Peppermint.
And I was supposed to go. You did buy me a ticket, but I ended up not going.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Yeah. This is my shocked face, everyone.
Yeah. Looks normal.
Looks like what?
It's a beautiful face.
Oh, whatever. So I thought something that we had talked about and that I said I was going to do was read the synopsis of the movie. And I think I did this in one other podcast, but I realized that I don't do well explaining the point of the movie. I just kind of talk about it and then...
Like everybody always knows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just going to read the couple lines from IMDb, no big deal, just to get that out of the way.
Go ahead, keep talking. I'm just going to adjust.
Yeah, so again, are you ready? I'm supposed to be able to trust your answers.
I was ready in no way whatsoever, apparently. Okay.
Sorry for all the little bumping noises. That didn't do anything. We're going to have to pause.
The microphone ended up right back where it was.
Okay, so the synopsis from IMDb reads, Peppermint is a revenge story centering on a young mother who finds herself with nothing to lose and is now going to take from her enemies the very life they stole from her. So that doesn't really explain it any better than I probably would have. But, okay, so the story is Jennifer Garner. You see it in the commercial, so there's no spoilers. She witnesses her daughter and her husband being gunned down, and so she comes back 5 years later to seek revenge.
5 years?
Yeah.
What was she doing for 5 years?
She was getting ready.
Working out?
Training, fighting, shooting, all that stuff. So that's the basis of the movie. It's a revenge movie. We were actually watching her on Jimmy Fallon the other day, and Jimmy Fallon was like, oh, it's like Death Wish. And she also named a couple others, like the Bourne movies and...
Matt.
Yeah, but what was the other movie she was naming too? And I was thinking as I was watching it, I was like, yeah, but these are normally male movies.
Yep. I got to be honest, that synopsis sucked compared to the commercials I've seen.
Oh.
That synopsis was awful. That wouldn't... That's a throwaway.
But it is. She has nothing to lose. At this point, she has nothing to lose, so she's going to go for it.
But you get that from the commercials.
Right. So what ends up happening is the people who killed her family are a major drug cartel in LA. They have people everywhere. So the cops are corrupt, the judge, the DA, the lawyers, everything is corrupt. And so once she figures that out, that's where she's like, okay, I got to take this matter into my own hands.
So she goes to people and those people are corrupt. She goes to other people, those people are corrupt. Is that how it goes?
It's just the guys, she identifies the guys who did it and they get off. because everyone's corrupt. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a very quick start. I mean, from the very beginning, we're in action, and there's maybe a buildup of a half hour of that kind of backstory and the story of her and where she's been, and then it's just kind of nonstop after that. Just go. It's been I was super excited to see this because I love to watch Jennifer Garner kick ass. She's just, if you watched Alias, you know that she's fantastic at it. I know most people go back to Elektra. I'm not a fan of that, but in Alias, she's great. And this was great. And so the director also directed Taken. So he's used to directing a lot of good action, and it was grimy, and it wasn't pretty because it was kind of, these guys aren't in the pretty parts of LA.
Okay, so you say grimy, it's just real seedy.
Yeah, the places
type.
she goes to find these guys and track them down. It's not, it is going to the places that are forgotten, and where she's been stashing out for months is right on Skid Row. I mean, where else to hide out than on Skid Row here in LA? So it's like, but at the same time, she's also protecting people and doing the right thing. And so then as she's going on this tirade and literally taking down this cartel, it starts getting out on social media of who she is and what she's doing. And the public starts to make a choice. Is she a vigilante? Is she a killer? Is she a hero? Is she standing up for what's right? All of that sort of stuff. So it raises a lot of those questions, but it's a touching story. It just is, and I think it's exactly the same. I actually haven't seen Death Wish, but isn't that the same premise? His family's killed, so he goes after people.
Yeah.
You kind of can't beat that story, no matter who it is that's going after and looking for justice, because I think we all feel that. There was just that story, and now I'm going to go into real life for just a second because it was in my head when it was happening. That story just recently of the husband who killed his wife in the $2 and is it Texas or Colorado? Remember? And
Colorado, I think.
Yeah, and he put their bodies like in the oil fields or whatever where he works. Yeah, so that a few days later when he's in court, the wife that he killed, the father-in-law, basically the woman's father, is in that courtroom with his head buried in his hands, just bawling his eyes out. He lost his daughter and his 2 granddaughters. Right. And here's this son-in-law that he thought, and the whole time I'm sitting there going, in my, cinematic, horribly fictional world, I'm thinking, just pull out a gun and kill this jerk. I want him to stand up and lunge at him and just choke him to death, and kind of like that father who was at the this is all real life people, the gymnasts when they were all testifying against that doctor,
right? And
that one father who had 3 daughters who were abused by that doctor, and he lunged at them, and we were all like, yeah, like that's
you saw that and you were like, that guy better not get in trouble for doing that, because
exactly
we all would have,
right? And it's the same thing with these movies. I mean, except for the times I was crying, I had a smile on my face through this entire movie. Every pull of the trigger, every time she was taking someone down, I was smiling.
You were rage happy.
Oh my God. I was so happy. It was fantastic.
Oh, man.
And no one better than Jennifer Garner to do it. It's absolutely the perfect choice. And it's one of those. So again, I went to the first showing. It's the second day it's been open. And it was a completely crowded theater. And I think, again, that's proving that these 40-something women can carry these movies, and hopefully Hollywood's going to start to...
Yeah.
I mean, we say this every time. We go, now they're going to start to open up. And it's like, oh, no, they're not. But, we'll see, because it's up against The Nun and still Crazy Rich Asians, which is fantastic. But, I think I was actually surprised there were a lot of, guys there, 2 or 3 guys there together versus seeing a lot of, women there. It was actually a little surprising.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different in that it's an action movie.
It totally is.
Right. So you're gonna draw some guys. And she did this before in Alias, right?
Yeah.
So if you were a fan of the show, which a lot of guys I know were, right? You kind of know what to expect, and it's just her getting back in the saddle again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna draw a lot of guys. I don't know that just because she's a 40-something female, it's automatically going to draw a lot of women because of the type of movie it is. I think
it will, though, because of the type of movie
Right.
it is. I think a lot of women can easily identify with this because it is
the plot and the
Yeah.
storyline, sure, but the fact that she's killing people.
It's fantastic though. like the way she, and here's the thing, the action is different. It felt like she was a bit smarter about it. And I don't know if they were doing this on purpose to say, hey, this is a woman doing this and a woman would do this versus, I don't know. But this was one of the first times where I felt like I wasn't sitting back going, well, that was dumb. Why'd you do that? Like, why'd you wait? Where a lot of times in action movies, the man kind of stands there and kind of waits for something. Like, she never waited for anything. Even at one point, she was like, they were like in this store and the guys were on the other side, on the aisle next to her. And so she was down on the ground and she could see their feet. And normally in a case like that, in a normal action movie, nothing would happen. The guy would stand up, maybe shoot through the shelves or something like that. Well, she saw their feet, so they fell, and then she shot him in the head, like all underneath the shelves. It was like, yeah, that's what I would do. Like, it was kind of like she never hesitated. She shot first all the time. And it was right from the first 2 minutes of the movie that happens where you're like, oh, okay, this is where we are. And that's great because I hate that sort of back and forth and hesitation and playing a game thing that happens in so many action movies where I'm like, just shoot. What are you doing? It's always like for drama or something. I don't need that.
Yeah.
That's not the point. The point is we're here to kill you. We're killing you.
Hello, I'm here to kill you today.
Yes.
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was great. It was great action. It was a great movie. I think there could be a possibility for another one if they wanted, even though it would make sense. They kind of, feels like they may have opened it up. But I liked the way it all concluded, and I liked it. It felt.
Did you say it would or wouldn't make sense?
It wouldn't make sense.
Okay.
But they could probably figure out a way.
In other words, she killed everybody she needed to kill to get to make her point or get her justice.
Right. But she could get justice for other people, and I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
So we'll see. But
Dirty Harriet.
Yeah, but it was very satisfying. Everything was very satisfying. Like I did not leave feeling at all
left nothing
jilted.
Nothing on the table.
Right.
Just
exactly.
got her money's worth.
Exactly.
All right. Well, good.
So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
Only because I felt like here's a weird thing. In the trailer, right? We hear her telling her daughter, my daughter has something, I don't even remember. She lists like 2 or 3 things about her daughter. And the final thing is, and a soul filled with peppermint. And so that's why the movie is called that. That line is not in the movie anywhere. I think they may have cut out a little bit more of her being with her family, because I felt like I could have used a little bit more of that, even though I don't need to see that to know the heartbreak of losing a husband and a child. But I would have liked a little bit more, just maybe even 5 minutes more of seeing the family together.
Okay.
So that's why I'm just going to give it a little bit less than perfect, but it was enjoyable. I'm fully satisfied.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't go,
That's okay.
but I got some stuff done around the house. So.
Yeah. That's more important to me. So we're good.
Turns out.
Okay. So then this was a very small week for me for movies. So the only other movie I watched was a new one that came out yesterday on Netflix called, I'm sorry, John's yawning right now.
Sorry, I did work today. I just got done saying I did.
He hasn't gotten his nap yet.
I haven't.
Okay, so
Can we move this along?
Yeah, well, let me talk.
Oh, it's my fault all the time.
So the next one is called Sierra Burgess is a Loser, and it's a movie that was on Netflix that came out yesterday, starring, Barb from Stranger Things. She's alive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're disappointed you couldn't remember her name?
I can't remember her actual name.
Right.
It's Shannon.
Sorry, am I supposed to be filling the time? While you look
Shannon Purser.
Purser?
Yes. Okay. So, and the other girl with her is Christine Froseth. That's the other girl that was in this. Okay, so the synopsis from IMDb on this one is: a case of mistaken identity results in unexpected romance when the most popular girl in school and the biggest loser must come together to win over their crushes. Again, this synopsis does not do this movie.
Maybe you should stop reading this.
So, Sierra Burgess is Barb. She is...
That's her name in the movie, Sierra Burgess?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is also weird because that's a real person and she's famous. And so it's like you couldn't come up with a different name for...
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I wonder how she feels about it.
It freaked me out when I first saw it because I was like, oh, did she do like a stage show or something? And anyway.
Probably freaked her out.
Probably. So... Can
you imagine her? She's like, wow, did you guys get my life story wrong?
Yeah. So she is the like loser of the school. She's picked on or whatever. And the other girl, Veronica, is the mean girl of the school. And she's actually beautiful.
The mean girl?
The mean girl.
They usually are.
Yeah, I know. And,
okay.
And, you know, Sierra / Barb is Barb. And here's the weird thing, though, is... and I could be so far off because I really don't know anything about kids today, but she's like, she wears like sweatshirts with kittens on them and she's got like a quilted jacket and all this stuff. And my first thought was literally, how is it possible for a kid to find clothes like you have to kind of go out of your way to find those clothes today.
Etsy.
It's just weird because it's like, you know, and I'm not saying you need to wear like stylish clothes in order to not be the loser of school, but it's just, even if you go to Walmart, like those aren't that kind of, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like it feels like she might be going out of her way, like to yard sales and vintage stores or something to find like the most hideous clothes you can possibly find. And it's just weird.
Okay.
Anyway, so the point is Veronica is super mean and gosh, so mean. And I actually almost turned it off because I'm a little tired of seeing the mean girls over and over and over again. And I know they exist. I know that, but it's like, maybe at my age, I'm just kind of like, it almost makes me physically ill to think that someone could say such horrible things to another person's face. You know, it's just, I'm just not...
Yeah,
you know?
I know what you're saying because I've seen a couple things lately about, you know, current days high school and the interactions between the kids, the mean girls, the mean kids, and the nerds and stuff like that. And I think, man, you know, I thought we had it rough, you know, when we were kids.
Well, we did, and it's never stopped, which also breaks my heart, I think.
But I can't believe it's gotten to where they're portraying it is.
It's worse now because of social media and everything.
Yes.
You know, I think what happens is when I see it, I'm just like, it really does kind of break my heart that after everything and that everything's been out there for the last 20 years, it's like, why are these kids still behaving so poorly?
Right.
It's so sad. Anyway.
Yeah. Before we break this into a public service announcement, go
back to the fictional story.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Entertain me.
So this guy comes up and asks out, and I should have his name too. So he was the same guy, that other Netflix movie I just talked about a couple weeks ago, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It's the same boy. I don't know if Netflix has him under contract or what, but at least I think it is. He looked the same. I probably should. Yeah, it is. He's also on The Fosters. So this kid is Noah Centineo, and he's adorable. So he goes and asks out Veronica, the hot girl, and she thinks he's a loser. So she, as a joke, she gives him Sierra's phone number. Well, he texts her, and Sierra kind of at first just kind of plays along. And she's like, you know, kind of, they keep saying she's catfishing him. And then, like, Veronica, her boyfriend dumps her and she's upset. And so Sierra approaches her and says, hey, I can make you smarter. Like, I can tutor you, because her boyfriend wanted a college type smart girl or whatever. I can tutor you, but I also have these other things I want you to know. And so what's interesting is I could care less about the whole little romance thing. To me, the importance of this movie was what happens between Veronica and Sierra. So Sierra goes to Veronica's house, and you know, there's a reason behind everyone's behavior. And the mean girls, there's usually a reason why they're so mean and miserable and horrible, right?
Yes.
And in this case, Chrissy Metz from This Is Us plays Veronica's mother. And there's also younger siblings, these twins. And Chrissy is on the kids for making sure they can't eat junk food and that they have to stay skinny and pretty. And it turns out that Veronica's dad left them for someone young and hot or whatever. And her mom has just kind of been this horrible, treating them horribly basically since then, and treating herself horribly as well. And so I think Veronica's behavior then just, points outward to everyone else because she's being treated horribly at home. So Sierra sees this and obviously then has more
context
and empathy for her.
Sure.
So they become friends, like best friends, like close friends. Veronica ends up telling Sierra things that she doesn't tell her besties that are in her little squad, and all that. And I kind of loved that. And even though like Veronica's friends didn't understand it, and even Sierra's friends didn't understand it, it just was a nice thing to see that you can find common ground if you get through all that crap.
Sure.
And I think going back to where I'm still so upset that kids still behave this way, these are the movies you do need to watch because you realize that, everyone is the same. And if you get out of that caste system of high school, you can be friends. And we've learned this since Breakfast Club. They go in the morning and they're all different.
Well, look, I mean, it's sprinkled throughout a lot of movies.
It is, and that's why I think I get so upset that it still happens.
I mean, the two girls in Jumanji, were kind of like that. One was one of the popular girls, and the other was an
even
outcast.
the two guys.
Yeah, well,
it's just, So anyway, it ends up that they do catfish the guy through the whole thing, and Veronica even goes on a date and with the guy, and so they're truly catfishing him. It all comes out at the end and horrible things are done at the end, but then they come back and they're friends, and so it's okay. But it's a good friendship movie more than it is this kind of rom-com thing to me. They're really tricking the guy through the whole thing, and then he ends up he's a decent guy.
Sure.
So anyway, it was interesting. It wasn't great. Like I paused it quite a few times and came back to it. It wasn't great.
Okay.
And I would definitely have no reason to watch it again. But, kids out there might be really enjoying it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know, 2.5 out of 5, I guess. What?
That's a lot of effort for a movie that wasn't great and you gave 2.5. That was a lot of conversation. That's okay. It's okay.
So on to TV then. So Making It ended this week.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm so bummed.
It was such a short season.
It flew by.
Yeah.
It
was only 6 or 7 episodes, I think.
Yeah, they need to expand
So
that.
hopefully the second season, which I don't even know if it's happening, they need to make it, like 50 weeks.
50 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Right?
Hey, if it's on, I'll watch it. So it doesn't matter where they are in the competition.
Yeah.
I'll watch it if,
Yeah.
If they start training pets, I'll watch it.
This is the only shot of American TV ever having anything close to the British Bake Off.
Yeah.
It was just pure joy, pure happiness.
Yep.
For everyone. And we were going into the final this week and we both said, well, which one do we want to win? And I said, I know I have my favorite, but I'd be happy with any of them, and I am. Kiem won.
Yep.
And I'm happy for him, and it was great and lovely, and they all did a great job.
Yep.
Yeah, it was such a great show.
It really is. It's got a lot of heart and it's very sweet and it's creative.
It
was really interesting. If you're a creative type at all, or you're fascinated, or you just always find yourself just kind of looking at things other people have created and going, wow, that's pretty cool. This is a great show to just watch and see how they do it, and watch them come up with those things.
And in so many different ways, the woodworking or just paper and felt, like some of the felt stuff that was going on, I had no clue that could happen.
Yep. Yeah, they several of those people created a bunch of stuff I would have never thought of, and certainly never thought of using what they used.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it turned out fantastic.
Yeah. I think my favorite week was the shed week when they had to redo the sheds, because we saw each one using different materials, and when it got inside those little places, it was like, that's what you did, what to that?
Yeah.
Like it was really amazing, and that was a fun week.
Yeah, they all did a great job on that one.
Yeah, they really did. So anyway, it's over, but it was hosted by Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman.
Yep.
They are the best. I don't know why they're not hosting the Emmys, even though I'm very excited for Michael Che and Colin Jost. But they're a great pair, and I will watch them do anything forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, totally.
So hopefully Making It is coming back for a second season. Everyone cross your fingers and toes, and let's hope so.
Whatever else you can cross.
Yes.
And yeah.
I did want to touch on Better Call Saul a little bit, because I'm having kind of an issue with it this season.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And I talked to my sister about it, and she actually agreed. She was feeling the same way. So I thought I'd put it out there and see if anyone else was feeling the same way. So Better Call Saul, obviously, it's one of the best shows ever made. Really, it really is. It's a fantastic show, and the fact that it's a prequel adds to it being great.
Is it as good as Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
It was. I'm not sure about this season though.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I'm not going to say it's as great as Breaking Bad. That's hard to say. That's too hard to say. But it lives up to it, which isn't easy to do at all. So it's been fantastic. The problem I'm having with this season is, and I think the thing is that we know we're getting closer to when Saul Goodman appears, right? So now he's Jimmy, and we know at some point he is going to take on the persona of Saul Goodman, and we're getting closer, but now we're involving all these. I don't know how to even word it. So we're also seeing everyone else that was in Breaking Bad, right? So we see Gus Fring, we see Mike Ehrmantraut, we're seeing the whole kind of cartel family and how they came to be, because we come across them all in Breaking Bad. And it's been interesting up until now. And I'm not sure if this season is different for the show or if it's me that's taking it on differently, but there are times where an episode or more goes by and we don't see Jimmy at all, and that bothers me. Like, I'm watching it for his journey. I know what happens to everyone else. I know what happens to Gus. I know what happens to Mike. I don't really need to see their backstory. So I could be completely alone here, except my sister did agree with me. I don't need to see how the lab is created under the laundromat, but we spent a lot of time on that. Now, maybe something comes of that I don't know, but I don't need to see that. I don't need to see the war between Gus and the Salamanca family and all that. Like, I just don't. I only really want to see Jimmy's journey and his girlfriend's journey, because we have no clue what happens with her. She was never in Breaking Bad. So it's like, I just feel like this season we have spent many episodes devoted to these other people other than Jimmy, and I'm not enjoying that as much.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. So this last episode, so since the beginning of Better Call Saul, we've gotten these cold opens that show Saul / Jimmy in the future after Breaking Bad. And so we've gotten to see what his life has become. He's working at Cinnabon. Like, we've gotten to see that in just these, 2-3 minute cold opens. This past episode, the cold open, was Saul closing up his office, basically, when we know that he ended up leaving when Walter White was leaving town and all that sort of stuff.
Or was that where he was cutting into the wall?
Yes.
Okay.
So we hadn't seen that. So we're starting to condense our timeline a little bit more fully surrounding Breaking Bad. So that was very exciting. But then we went on and we, spent time with other people too, and had to watch people measuring for the lab and all that. And it's like, I get it. I'm certain there's a point to it. I'm just not enjoying it as much. So I just kind of wanted to put it out there. If other people are having the same problem, I'd love to hear it so I don't feel like I'm betraying the show.
Yeah, somebody else is going to have to pitch in here because I don't watch it, so I can't talk about it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So another new show that was on this week was The Purge.
The Purge.
Which is from the movies.
Okay.
Yeah, so you didn't see any of the Purge movies either, right?
That's a series now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first Purge, well, I think that's the name of a movie actually, but the first movie in the series with Ethan Hawke and stuff it didn't live up to what I wanted it to be. So I was kind of disappointed by it. The second movie I loved. That's what I wanted the first movie to be. So I really, really enjoyed the second one. I watch it quite a bit actually. I haven't seen the third one. It just came out this summer and I haven't seen it yet. And I don't think it had anything to do with the series, but I know they were somehow wanting to tie it together, but I'm not entirely sure.
Wasn't it tied into the election or something?
Yeah. So the movie so I guess it wasn't tied into the series now that I think about it. The movie was, had a Juliet, what's her name? I don't know what her name is. Elizabeth from Lost. Juliet from Lost. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't see the third one, which was an election. So anyway, so the first episode of the series, The Purge, started, and I'm kind of excited about it. All it did was set up, so it started about an hour and a half before The Purge was beginning, and so we were introduced, I want to say maybe 5 characters and where they are, and possibly how they're going to be spending the Purge. So it's only 10 episodes. The Purge lasts for 12 hours. So I so far like the people. I like the situations it looks like we're going to be in. It looks like it could be fun.
Is this a single season thing, or are they going to try to do more?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm really not sure. I think they're probably going to wait and see how it goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. If you liked, especially if you liked the second one, because this one reminds me a lot more of the second one, where we were following a bunch of different people during the Purge. They ended up coming together eventually, but I doubt that'll happen here, just because that would be repeating the second movie. But
so it's the good stuff.
I like seeing people either being outside and trying to survive during the Purge, or being somewhere and like people have parties and they bring in poor people and kill them, so that's going on in the show too. So I don't think they're bringing in poor people in the show. It looks like they actually have a bus of volunteers people who want to die.
What an awful show. Good grief. I will never watch that show.
It looks like it's going to be good. So I will keep going.
Fundamentally opposed to the whole premise.
Okay.
Says the old man in the corner.
Exactly. That's your segment. Old man in the corner.
It's the old man's corner.
Yeah.
Here I am.
So I don't remember if it was the last podcast or the one before where I spoke about the Hannah Gadsby special called Nanette that is on Netflix. Mm-hmm. But I got John to watch it this week. So I thought we would come back in and see how because I had a very difficult time talking about it because it's hard to describe. But it's so now that I've seen it myself, I completely understand why you had such a hard time talking about it. She's funny. Yeah. She's very funny. Yeah.
But in her show, which is like an hour and a half show or something.
I think it's only a little over an hour.
Okay. Well,
it feels a little longer.
It felt longer because she'll crack a few jokes and be funny, and then very kind of suddenly it'll take on a more serious tone because she starts to talk about something usually from her life. And she had kind of a tough go of it for a long time. Well, she's still having a tough go of it, but she's always had a tough go of it because she grew up as a lesbian in a family that didn't understand, in a country where it was legal. Illegal. That's what I said.
Oh, it sounded like you said legal.
Sorry. Illegal. So pretty much everything she stood for and everything that came natural to her was
Shameful.
It was shameful, and she had to suppress it. And that's a very tough existence. It has to be. I'm not going to pretend to understand any of that. I don't. But what she described and the story she told and the feeling that came across during her show, which was billed as a comedy show, there's a lot of heartbreak there. There's a lot of very deep emotions there that aren't overly funny. Now, she brings it around every time and ties it into something funny, and you can laugh and release the tension. That's one of her big things is she's a tension comic. She builds the tension and then lets you release it.
Right, but she's not doing that anymore.
Well, okay, so she used to.
Well, no, that's the point of this whole special is how she thinks she needs to give up comedy because she doesn't want to do that anymore. She doesn't want to be self-deprecating anymore. She doesn't want to... she's too angry and she doesn't want to spread her anger.
She wants to be true to her story without having to do it through comedy.
Exactly. She just wants her story to be heard. And watching this special is the way to listen to her story and hopefully learn something in behavior. She does rage about white straight men a lot. But that's okay. They deserve it.
Well, we all have our day. Right. And she's, but when you understand what she's gone through,
right.
And honestly, I get it.
Yeah.
As a, straight white male, I understand we've had it pretty easy.
Right.
Because everything is geared towards us.
Yep.
So I don't,
that's not, I was just throwing in that. And there's a lot of jokes there. And there's a lot of jokes in the whole thing, but I also cry my eyes out.
Yeah. So, I don't want to spend a ton of time trying to give a big, deep synopsis or big, deep review of this. I will just say she's very funny.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you will have probably a little different perspective on the world and the way other people are forced to go through it.
Well, you better. Because if you don't, then something's really wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But it's something that I believe everyone needs to see. I think young people should definitely see it. There's a lot of learning in learning of what compassion might mean and what humanity really is.
Well, I would think that, and I had this thought while watching it. I think all young people should see it because it'll either help them understand some things that they're going through and they're feeling and that somebody else has gone through and it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. It can be okay and it's normal. Right.
Well, okay.
Or it's going to point out how mean people are to each other and stop doing it. If you're one of those people being mean to somebody because you don't understand, it's a great example of what that person actually goes through when you say those things to them.
Right.
How it makes them feel, how it actually shapes their life.
Well, and not just that, they're already feeling that way. That's part of, I think, the bigger thing is that, if you grow up in a homophobic environment and you turn out to be gay, like she said, that switch doesn't flip automatically just because now I'm gay, so now I'm no longer homophobic. She's like, there are so many things that have to change and there's so much shame with it. So you don't, and again, it kind of comes back to that Netflix movie. You don't know what someone else is already going through. You don't know what they're feeling already about themselves. So think about the words that you say to them that might add to that sorrow or shame or whatever the emotion might be.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important. And also that normal isn't a good word. That's a big thing for me from that because she says people tell her she needs to say she's transgender and she's like, I'm not, I'm just a lesbian, but she dresses the way she dresses. So she's like, she's not gender normal, but she's also not transgender. I think we all need to get away from the word normal. I think there isn't a normal and we all need to be okay with that everyone is just who they are and it's perfectly fine.
We treat normal like it's an accepted baseline and it's not. It's an opinion. It's your opinion of something.
Exactly.
Right. And that's not fair.
Yeah. So the one line that I'm now is becoming my mantra that she says in the special is there's nothing stronger than a woman who has been broken and has rebuilt herself. And I kept thinking that today during Peppermint too, because as I'm watching her just going around kicking ass, I'm like, yeah, this woman is so broken, and she has taken all these years. She's not rebuilt herself emotionally, but she's doing what she needs to do, and there's no fighting that.
Well, she should write a book of just her sayings from that Netflix special, because she has so many good standalone statements. Right. She tells them in a series that adds up to this paragraph or this page, but each sentence could be a standalone phrase that you put on a t-shirt or put on a poster or whatever you want to do with it. She has so many good lines that just make you think and just point out, how bad we are to each other, and we really shouldn't be. No need to be.
So anyway, it's still on Netflix. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Highly recommended.
So public service announcement: if you're awful to people, stop it. That's it. The end.
Okay, so it was a very small week. That's kind of all I have as far as TV goes. But I did want to point out there's a good amount of shows starting this week, and so as the fall schedule starts to bank up, I think what I'm going to do is just point out the new shows that are coming on that I'm going to be watching, so that you can be sure to watch them if you have an interest.
Bank up, huh? So you didn't make up a new word this week, but I think you're starting a new phrase. Shows that are starting to bank up. Okay. Sorry. I said sorry. I'm sorry. Most people say ramp up or something like that, but you said bank up.
Whatever. I can't even fight it anymore.
That's
I'm
awesome.
So tired. Okay, so these are the shows that I'm looking forward to this week that are starting. So this is today's Saturday, between now and next Saturday. So there's a new show on Lifetime. I know, it's weird. It's called You. And it's with Penn Badgley, who was from Gossip Girl. And it looks like a typical, and one of the chicks from Pretty Little Liars too, the pretty one, which I'm excited about. But Shay Mitchell was her name.
Oh. Okay, I was wondering.
So it looks like it's like a Lifetime show. Like it's based on a book, I guess. And it's kind of like a couple meets each other and they like each other, but he's got like this stalking issue. And so even though I guess they're dating, he like stalks her still and all this weird stuff. So it looks very interesting. It's already been renewed for a second season. So I'm excited for that.
Oh, how Lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Yeah. So then there's the show Kidding, the Jim Carrey show that's going to be on Showtime this weekend.
I saw an advertisement for that just a short time ago.
Yeah, so that starts tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. He plays like a kind of a Mr. Rogers type person where he hosts a children's show, but I guess like his family life starts falling apart, and so he kind of starts falling apart, so the show starts falling apart, I don't know. But we'll see. I love Jim Carrey, so
yeah,
I'm excited for that show.
Okay.
I have to keep stopping him from
being distracted. There shouldn't be a window right there. There shouldn't be.
Looking.
Sorry.
Rel.
Okay.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I think that looks like it's going to be funny with
Rel.
With Lil Rel Howery. He was in Get Out. He was the best friend on Get Out.
Oh, I like that guy.
Yeah. So now he's got his own sitcom.
Oh, yeah. We've seen commercials for him.
A lot of the same people from the Carmichael Show are producing and are going to be on it. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's tomorrow.
We'll see if you talk about the other show that I want to check out.
Oh, okay. The new American Horror Story Apocalypse comes back this week.
That's not it.
I don't know if I'll watch it. So here's the thing. They're trying to tie it back to the first season. I loved the first season, but I have not watched every season. I have probably skipped almost every other season. Sometimes it gets too gory for me. Like Hotel, I tried, and in the first 15 minutes, it was so gory. I'm not a gore fan. I like scary. I don't like gore. So I didn't watch that one. I didn't watch the circus one.
Wasn't there one with Lady Gaga?
That was the hotel one.
Oh.
Yeah. And Matt Bomer.
And you didn't watch it.
And I didn't, both of them, and I didn't watch it. So
interesting.
I know. I couldn't.
That's too bad.
It was just like blood everywhere. So we'll see. If this isn't gory, I'm going to stick with it. But if it is, I won't be able to keep doing it.
So Ryan Murphy, if you're listening.
Yeah, because that matters. Okay. So then so that starts, I think it's Wednesday or something on FX. The next is a Hulu show. This starts, I think it's Friday Oh, no, maybe it's not. I don't know when it starts, but it's sometime this week called The First with Sean Penn. Sean Penn is doing a series. People get excited. And he's an astronaut. It's about the first astronauts to get to Mars. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Love Sean Penn. And then there's a show that's going to be on Friday on Amazon called Forever with Fred Armisen and Maya Rudolph.
Oh my gosh.
But here's the thing. When you watch the trailer for it, like go watch the trailer, it's interesting. It looks like they live like a very normal, boring, suburban life. They're happy.
Don't use the word normal.
But then something goes wonky somewhere. And I don't know what it is. They aren't really telling us what happens. So I don't know if like they get into trouble somehow. I don't know if it's a comedy or not. Like I don't know anything. I'm just thrilled that the two of them are in something, and I'm gonna watch it. And that's on Hulu or on Amazon Prime starting on Friday.
Okay.
So those are the new shows starting in the next week that I am very excited about.
Oh, okay.
What show were you talking about?
Well, so it's that show, and I forget the name of it. But it's a show where the father is in the kitchen and he slaps the woman on the backside.
Oh, Why I Feel Bad. That doesn't start for a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We will definitely be watching
Yeah. What's the name of it?
Why I Feel Bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's an Amy Poehler produced show. That looks very good.
It does look really funny. Not just for that, but just all.
It's a good cast, and we'll talk about that in a couple weeks when it starts.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm in.
Okay, so that's everything regarding what I've been watching, what I'm going to be watching. As we started last week, we are going to do this little segment at the end where we're talking about the movies of a specific actor. So because of Peppermint, this week we have chosen Jennifer Garner, who John's not a fan of.
By we, you mean you chose Jennifer Garner.
So we have a few categories, and we're just going to go through and list our choices. So the first category of Jennifer Garner's is a movie I love.
Go ahead.
Mine, I think my favorite, and there are so many of hers, it was really tough to get through all of this. Because I first saw her in Felicity, and that's where I really fell in love with her when she was married to TV's Scott Foley back then.
In real life?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
And he was on Felicity, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think the one that I chose for movie I love is Catch and Release.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
It has to be. It just has to be. And it is so much for her, but it is so much for Kevin Smith, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just one of the best. First off, I watch it very often, but it is such a great story of people who change who they are when they're in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And you so often don't figure it out. And and I love to watch her kind of journey after her fiance dies, that she figures out, you know what, he didn't know me. I wasn't myself with him. And, and vice versa. He wasn't himself with her, and she goes through this whole thing, and and it finds happiness, and I love it. And all the characters are great. The whole Juliette Lewis, like everyone's great in that whole movie.
Yeah.
I love it. So that's my favorite of hers.
Okay. It's on my list, but not for this particular category. Mine is The Invention of Lying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because she's just kind of sweet and innocent. Right?
Yeah.
In that, and then...
Well, because
Right.
Because they don't know how to lie.
Because they don't know how to lie. So, but Ricky Gervais, So I'm a fan of anything with Ricky Gervais in it.
Yeah.
But this was my favorite role of her because I'm not a fan.
Right.
But this was... she was really good in it. As
and
far as I'm
it's a
concerned.
Great movie. It's just, if you haven't seen, it was a small thing. So if you haven't seen The Invention of Lying, it literally is. It's a world that doesn't have lying in it, and Ricky Gervais starts to figure out how to lie.
He starts it,
and it's just great.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah. Okay, so the next category is a movie I like, and I chose The Odd Life of Timothy Green.
Okay.
Because I really do love it, but it's not one I can watch over and over again because I cry so hard. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
Where the boy comes out of the ground and...
I know of it. I mean, isn't it Owen Wilson?
I don't think so. Is it?
I thought
Gosh,
it was.
I don't even... I thought it was...
Well, I thought it was one of the Olsen brothers.
Oh, really?
Or Wilson brothers.
See? I don't even pay attention.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I remember when it came out, and we talked about it because we saw...
Oh, no, it's Joel Edgerton. That's what I thought.
Joel Edgerton. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I really, really enjoy it. If you haven't seen The Odd Life of Timothy Green, it's so sweet. You will cry and cry and cry, and she's just good in that. She's really good when she plays a mom. Like I'm certain she's a great
half
mom.
of her movies she's a mom.
I know, but she's so good in it. She's just great at that. Anyway, okay. Next one for you. Movie you like?
Movie I like is Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
Yeah.
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 It's her. She's good.
She's good.
There's other good people in the cast. It's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. I can't not watch that movie.
Yeah.
It's just,
right.
Yeah.
And it's a well-made movie. It's just good.
Yeah. Movie I hate, and I don't hate it because of her, but it's Arthur.
Okay.
Because it never should have been remade. The original is a classic, and they just shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I've only seen it once, and I don't need to see it again.
Yeah. Okay, so we've come to the point where I have to confess I have a moral dilemma here. I'm not a fan of hers in any, really. And we've talked about this. You and I have talked about this a lot, right? Because she's one of your favorites, and I don't really care for her. I couldn't find anything I hated.
Because you haven't seen most everything.
I have to be honest. I haven't seen a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to...
And the ones you've seen you like, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching them.
Yeah. So
that's okay.
So the problem is, everything I've seen with her in it, it's okay, or I like it.
Right.
And to be fair to her, I can't say I hate something I haven't seen.
Right. And that makes sense.
So...
that's perfectly fine.
Empty.
Okay. Movie or TV show you secretly love? Draft Day.
Yeah, I get it.
Look, people, I'm not a sports person.
Yep.
I can watch, and I've watched Draft Day twice in one day.
Yeah.
I don't know why I love that movie.
Yeah. Well, it's Costner.
I think it is,
yeah.
But it's the suspense, and they really did a great job of like that whole mystery. What's the deal with the good quarterback? And, and it's just I don't know what it is, but I love it as it unfolds.
It's Costner doing what he does best, which is you can tell he's smart. He's thinking 3 steps ahead, and he's also very subtly convincing a lot of people of something.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It's just great.
To me, that's when he's at his best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. And yours?
Catch and Release.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that needs to be a secret. It's good.
It's not anymore.
Movie you're embarrassed to say you haven't seen?
Alias.
We can watch it
I
anytime
know.
you want.
I know.
Mine is Elektra, actually. I saw Daredevil, but I didn't see her standalone Elektra movie, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Movie you're going to add to your watch list?
Peppermint.
Well, yeah, cut a comp. No,
I know.
Okay.
I know. I should have. You can make an argument.
So I've got 2 here. One is Tribes of Palos Verdes, which just came out last year, and I really did want to see it, and I just haven't gotten to yet.
Isn't that the one that was made around here?
Well, it's Palos Verdes, so yeah, it's right down the street.
Well,
I don't know how much they filmed here, actually, but it's set here.
That's what I know it's set here, but that's what I mean. Isn't that the one that they were filming at South Bay?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
And then she's got a show coming out on HBO in a few weeks called Camping.
Yeah.
And that's definitely on my watch list. I'm very excited to see it. Again, her, Juliette Lewis. There's a lot of good people on it.
Are they friends in real life?
I don't know.
Huh. Because
I would assume they need to be, but then again, you'd also think she'd be friends with Kevin Smith, and she's not. So those are my 2 to add to the list. I wanted to go through...
Maybe that's why I don't like her. Anybody who can't be friends with Kevin Smith, I have a problem with that. That's it. I think that's it. Sorry for interrupting. That wasn't exactly breaking news.
So then never mind. I'm not going to get into that.
Why? Oh, no. Come on.
So I just want to go through a few honorable mentions that I have to go through of hers. So obviously I said Felicity, Alias, 13 going on 30. One of those that I mean, Jenna Rink is just, she's an icon. Juno, she's when she is touching her belly in the mall, and she just kills me when she's doing
Ellen
that.
Page's belly in the mall, by the way.
Right. We talked about those. Valentine's Day, another great one, when she lets Patrick Dempsey have it in the restaurant. That's just great.
Gary Marshall.
Dallas Buyers Club. She's very good in that. Love, Simon, which I already talked about on here. It came out a few months ago. She plays his mom. She's again just a great mom, and she's got a great speech in that movie that I really love.
That's Owen Wilson.
No, that's Fergie's husband, Josh Duhamel. Yeah. And then the last is Al Pacino's movie, Danny Collins, which I don't think you ever saw, but again, it's a crier.
I saw that and I was instantly thinking Michael Clayton, and I couldn't. Michael Clayton?
I don't know.
Is that the George Clooney one?
I think so. No, I don't know. Yeah, so Danny Collins, that's another one that everyone should see. You will cry. But again, she's just, there's just something to me. I feel like she has a loveliness about her that she can be so sincere in so many moments that I just really love.
Cool.
So that wraps up our Jennifer Garner corner.
All right. I love it.
So that is it for today. There was definitely not a lot of stuff going on. Oh, and then the movie I'm looking forward to next week is, I just blanked.
Wow, you're looking forward to it,
A
though.
Simple Favor. Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. So hopefully I'll be talking about that on the podcast next weekend. So
yeah, it's another one. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go see it by yourself.
I'm used to it.
I know,
it's quite
but
all right.
I know, and I like them both, but
yeah, you're weird. You're weird. You're basic.
Oh. All right, this is John. Bye.
This is John. Okay.
Well, I'm done.
That's it, everybody, for this week. We are done.
I'll say.
Same old stuff. Go to our website, watchingmystories.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And reach out to us if you want to be on the podcast or you just want us to talk about something in particular. Oh, special news to my uncle. He wanted us to talk about Gregory Peck. And finally, To Kill a Mockingbird was on this weekend. We taped it. John has never seen it. So we are going to watch that. And we will be able to talk about Gregory Peck at some point.
Yep. So
that's
Peter,
not one of his favorite movies, but we're doing it anyways.
So yes, Peter, I'm going to watch that Gregory Peck movie.
Yes. So that's very exciting. So yeah, let us know what you want to hear us talk about and we will make it so. All right.
Yeah, we will.
Everybody have a great week. Until then, I'll be watching my stories.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye.